Okay, today we're learning Maseches Pesachim Daf Kuf Yutes Amud Aleph. Amar Rav Yudah Amar Shmuel. Kol Kesef v'Zov Sheba'olam Yosef Liktoi Ve'Avio LeMitzrayim. All the money in the world, Yosef HaTzadik in his time, he brought it to Mitzrayim. Shneimar Ve'Laket Yosef Kol HaKesef V'Nimtzo Be'Eretz Mitzrayim. He collected all the money of Eretz Mitzrayim. It was a hunger, and he sold them the grain, he got the money, and that's how he collected all the money of Mitzrayim. It was a lot of wealth over there. Only ala sheberetz Mitzrayim. Sheberetz Canaan, B'shar Rotas Minayin. Okay, that was from Eretz Mitzrayim. How do you know, from that pasuk we learn, where Lakis Iska and said Beretz Mitzrayim, it says, how do you know he collected money from the whole entire world? Shneimar Tamalam Chol HaOretz Bo Mitzrayim. That time, the Mitzrayim was a superpower, and everybody came to Mitzrayim when there was hunger to buy food from Mitzrayim. So they brought the money to Mitzrayim. He got all the money from the whole entire world to him. Uksh'olu Yisrael Mitzrayim. When we got out of Mitzrayim, He'elu Imoim. We took all the money with us. Shneimar Ve'inatzlu et Mitzrayim. We took everything over there, all the money, meaning when we got out of Mitzrayim, the whole wealth of the world was in the hands of Yosef, and we took it out. Amar Rav Asi, the Girsa over here in Pesachim Rav Asi, in Maseches Brochus, it's Amar Rav Ami. Asur k'metzulo she'en bodogim. They converted after Yitzias Mitzrayim, when we got out of Mitzrayim with all the wealth of Mitzrayim, we left Mitzrayim like a place without any fish, the water without any fish. We take somebody can want to go fish over there. There's no fish. There's nothing to fish over there. We got all the money out of Mitzrayim. Rav Shimon Omar, Ravir says Rav Shimon, and Maseches Baruch says Rav Shlokish, same thing. Rav Shimon ben Lakish, Omar kemetzudo she'en bo dogon. They made it like a field. Usually in a field, they spread over there some grain, and they want the birds to fly there to eat the grain, and then they catch the birds. Mitzrayim, before that, it was a place. It was like there was either fish to come to Mitzrayim to fish, to do some fishing, or it was over there some grain. That's where the birds, meaning everybody from the entire world, came over there to get the grain, and then Mitzrayim chapped them, like by us. We got stuck in Mitzrayim 210 years, part of the Golus. So after that already, however you compare it to, there's a water without fish, a pool without fish, or you could say it was a field without any grain in it. So there's no reason for anybody to come to do fishing. There's no reason for any birds to fly there. There's nothing attracting to Mitzrayim. Okay, and what happened to this money? The Gemara says, "Vayomunach ad Rechavam ben Shloimeh." Since we came to Eretz Yisrael, all the way till Rechavam ben Shloimeh, the grandson of David HaMelech, this money was in his possession, this wealth. And then what happened afterwards? Bo Shishak Melech Mitzrayim al Yerushalayim u'natolo merachavam. Shishak was the king of Mitzrayim at that time, and he came and he took away all the wealth from Rechavam, and he inherited the whole wealth of the entire world that went back to Mitzrayim. So we got it all this time from Mitzrayim all the way to Rechavam, and then went back to Shishak. Shneimar v'hi b'shana ha'chamishes lemelech Rechavam, when he was king for 5 years. Olo Shishak melech Mitzrayim al Yerushalayim v'yikach es oitzres bes Hashem v'tos bes HaMelech. He took the whole wealth that he took with him. After that, the money was sitting back in Mitzrayim by Shishak Melech Mitzrayim. Bo Kush, Zerach Melech Kush, u'netoloi Shishak Melech Mitzrayim. So Zerach, the king of Kush of Africa, fought with the Melech Mitzrayim. He took all the wealth. So this wealth traveled from the world to Yosef. From the Yosef got out of Mitzrayim with the Bnei Yisrael. When they got out of Mitzrayim, was sitting by all the way from hundreds of years in Eretz Yisrael till the time of Rechavam ben Shlomo HaMelech. Then came Shishak Melech Mitzrayim, took it from him, went back to Mitzrayim. Then came the Zerach Melech Kush, Melech of Africa, and took the money to Africa.
He wasn't powerful enough to keep the money in his hands.
Okay. By the way, you see from here we're going to see it's not so much about just power over here. We're going to see soon this money has something symbolic in it. How it's one of the name of the money it's called zuzim. Why it's called zuzim? Because it zaz. It moves from place to place.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be, and it moves. Now, so it says, Bo also unetolom mizerach melech Kush. Also was a Jewish king, and he went and he took it from Zerach melech Kush. So went back to Eretz Israel. V'shigre lahadrimon ben Tavrimon. He sent the money. He got all this wealth from the king of Africa, of Zerach, the Jewish king also, and he sent it to, who's this Hadrimon? He was king of Aram in Syria. Now, why did he do it? He wanted him, he was also, was the king from Yehuda, Malcha Yehuda, and he was fighting with Melech Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, there were two kingdoms. After it's split by time of Rachavam, the Ravam ben Navot. The Ravam ben Navot started Malcha Yisrael. It was the first king, Malcha Yisrael. And so that time of Asa, he was fighting with Melech Yisrael. So he wanted the Syrian king to help him, so he sent him all the money, help me out in the war, in all the wealth I'm giving you. Then the king of Israel then was Basa Melech Yisrael. Okay. Anyway, after that, so the money was sitting now by Adrimon ben Tavrimon, which is it's the king of Syria, sitting by him. Bo Yehoshaphat, come Yehoshaphat, and he took it from them. It's, by the way, Syria it's called Ammon, Bnei Ammon. Syria it's called Ammon. Okay. V'hoya munach ad ochos. Now Yehoshaphat is also from Melech Yehuda, and it's sitting in by Malcha Yehuda till Ochaz. Ochaz was the father of Chizkiah Melech, the famous tzaddik Chizkiah Melech. He was sitting by Ochaz, Melech Yehuda. Again, the wealth traveling, Zoz, moving from hand to hand, came all the way back to Ochaz, Melech Yehuda. Bos Sancheriv u'netolam me'Ochaz. Sancheriv, in his time, when was it the superpower, he conquered most parts of the world, and he took the money from Achaz. Bo Chizkiah u'netolam me'Sancheriv. Come the son of Osa, Chizkiah Melech, the tzaddik, and he takes it from Sancheriv. However, there was no war, there's no match between Sancheriv and Chizkiah. The famous story when he came to conquer Yerushalayim, he saw it so small. I'm making a long story short, there's a whole parsha on its own. So Chizkiah Melech he looked at the outside of the window, saw such a huge army. He says to Hashem, I cannot fight like my great-grandfather David HaMelech. He says, I'm not a fighter. Even you'll be a big fighter, such a small kingdom, such a small army. There's no match. He says, I cannot daven, he says, like my great-grandfather Shlomo HaMelech. He says, so I'm going to sleep. You do whatever you want to do. And that night, such a bitochen, and such a you're able to fall asleep when such an army waiting outside to conquer. So that Hashem sent a malach and he killed the whole entire army. And then when Chizkiah Melech took the wealth back, without any war, it fell into his hands. Okay, then it says like this. Lo yomunach at Tzidkiyo. Now, who's Tzidkiyo? Tzidkiyo was the last melech of who had in Eretz Yisrael before Churban Bayis Rishon. He was the last king, Tzidkiyo. After that, we didn't have any more Melachim till coming of Mashiach. Well, during Bayis Sheni, we didn't have Melachim till the Chashmonaim conquered the Yevonim, and they were in power like 100 years.
But they weren't really
Right,
kings.
that wasn't the Ruach Chachomim, because they're not from the Malcha Yehuda, the Kohanim, they should not take the kingdom, but that's another parsha, but officially a real Melech we didn't have till coming of Mashiach.
They
Anyway,
didn't have Malch Mashuach. They didn't have the oil.
right, so anyway, they're not also from the family of the Malachim, the Kohanim. Anyway, let's leave this aside right now. The world was in the hand of Tzidkiyahu. Bo Kasdiyim, that's the Nebuchadnezzar, which is he on the Tulum with Tzidkiyahu. He took all the money. Again, it's the money traveling so many places now. Soon we're going to see the business of this money traveling. Soon we're going to see it. Bo Parsim, after the Babylonians, Sachakol, the kingdom of Nebuchadnezzar lasted three generations. Bo Parsim unetlu mekazdim. They took away from the Kazdim, the wealth, the Parsim, the Persians. Bo Yevonim, after the kingdom of Achashverosh, Koresh, all this Malchaporos.
The Greeks.
Came the Greeks, the Yevonim unetlu meparsim. And that's were the one dominating by us till the Hashmonaim conquered them, the Greeks. Bo Roimiyim, the Romes came after that was the Hemshech of the Yevonim. Unetaluim Yevonim, they took it from the Greeks. V'adayin munach b'roimim, meaning that wealth of Yosef HaTzadik, that wealth of the whole entire world, it's now in the hands of Rome.
In the Vatican.
Oh, now we had the shiur about this Indian who's called today Rome. A few pages ago, right here on this.
Right.
We had who did Hashem won't take a present from them. It says who's Rome. It's open to interpretation. Whether it's you could say it's America, you could say it's Europe, you could say it's Russia, you could say whatever. We will find out in Mashiach gonna come who exactly represents Rome. But they're holding to this wealth till Mashiach gonna come. Okay, so that's the Gemara. That's a beautiful Pirush over here. If I wouldn't tell you the name, you wouldn't believe it. It's such a Hasidic Pirush, but it was written by the Tzion Nefesh Chai, the Noida B'Yudo. The Noida B'Yudo lived the time of Baal Shem Tov. It was a big misnagid. A big tzaddik, a big Goen, but it was a big misnagid. Just before I say his Pirush, why I'm saying this, his Pirush is mamash a Hasidic Pirush. If I would tell you Baal Shem Tov saying this, it's mamash it's mamash a Hasidic Pirush, but he said it. And by the way, before, just one short story about him, before I get to his Pirush over here, his the Noida B'Yuda, like I said, he was a big misnaged to the Baal Shem Tov and Talmidov, but his daughter became a kusha to the Baal Shem Tov, his daughter. So she used to go back and forth to the Baal Shem Tov. One time, she came back home and told her father, I'm telling you, this man is a holy man. He says, I was by him, and he says by Mincha, by Shalosh Shudas, he said, Kova, by Mincha, he says, Kova Nera Ma'arovi. The western candle was shut down now. And that was, they find out later on, that moment, the Oracham HaKodesh passed away.
Wait, who passed away?
Oracham HaKodesh. And Oracham HaKodesh, he passed away in Eretz Yisrael. He was a Moroccan scholar which was immigrated to Eretz Yisrael. And Baal Shem Tov, Shabbos Kodesh. If it's not Shabbos, what? There's no fax, there's no text, there's no phone calls. On Shabbos Kodesh, he said, by the Kovan, the Oracham HaKodesh passed away. So she told him, look, how did he know it? He's a holy man. So he was against him. Since he's a holy man, why are you so much against him? So right away, the Noida B'Yuda said to his daughter, and then he says, by Motzoi Shabbos, he made kriya. He tore his clothing for that because the Oracham passed away. Motzoi Shabbos. Baal Shem Tov made a kriya. So she told him, look, they find out that it was true, it's happened all, and he knew it from being in Mezhebush, far away, and he's in Eretz Yisrael, and he's in Mezhebush. So the father right away said he did against halacha. I don't know, maybe he has the Ruach HaKodesh, but according to Shulchan Aruch, he cannot make kriya unless somebody told you this has happened. You can make kriya on Ruach HaKodesh. So she did not know. Father saying something to Shulchan Aruch. When she went back to Mezhebush, she asked the Baal Shem Tov. She's the messenger of here between the two. She said, yeah, you're Baal Ruach HaKodesh, but my father said you cannot make kriya if you weren't there or somebody didn't tell you. You can't go on Ruach HaKodesh make kriya. He told the daughter of the Noida B'Yuda, what are you talking about? He says, I was beside his bed when he passed away. So he was in Mezhebush and he was beside his bed in Eretz Yisrael. So when she went back, told us to her father, you're telling me he couldn't do it because he wasn't there. He said he was there, he says. So again, those things we cannot understand. But this is, I'm just saying, one of the inyanim was between the Noida Yehuda and the Baal Shem Tov. Anyway, Kaponim, like that, from this pirush you're going to see, it was total mamash inyan Chassidus over here. It's mamash, you could say it's from Chassidish Sforim. So here's what he says over here. He's explained this whole inyan of they took the wealth and nothing left over there. He says like this. So he says, Omnam, Ani Lula Pirush Rashi, Ayonira Lanias Daiti Lefarash Pirush Acher. He says, I have a different take, he says. The Noida Yehuda and this whole Indian, what took place over there, that they left Mitzraim without fish, without any grain, that no business anybody has to go there. He says like this. The Kol Golia Shagoli Yisrael, all the Golias when we went, he says, Avsha is oynesh l'hasam chedel chalas pesha. Even though the Golias going to exile, it's coming as a punishment for cleansing, that's the how we learn in Chassidus. He said there is another purpose for the Golias. There's a positive purpose for the Golias besides going there for cleansing for Aveiros. B'kol mokem gam etzem hagolus oyel toiva. It's not only the cleansing part, it's a kapara because we're in Golus. No, while you're there, there's something positive in the Golus, something positive. What's the positive thing? Omar Rabbi Elazar, lo higla HaKadosh Baruch Hu leben umas ha'olam, gedei l'sheitoisfu aleim geirim. The whole idea when we went to the Golus, besides paying a bill and being punished, we also have what's the benefit? We're bringing Geirim into Klal Yisrael. Shneimar uzratiyah ba'oretz. Hashem says, I plant them in the land, and when you plant a little bit, you get a lot more than you plant. So that's why I say we are like his investment. We are like in his investment, and that's what. By the way, just a Maimer Amuzgar, before we go further, we got a few minutes. There's a very beautiful pirush from. He's not saying this. I'm saying this from the Koznitzer Magid. We're saying by Avinu Malkeinu. We're saying Avinu Malkeinu Horem Keren Yisrael Amecha. The Pashtus meaning pick up our horem, meaning pick up our head when Golos we're down. So he says like this. He says when a businessman invests money. When he invests $1,000, he wants to make a profit. Nobody invests $1,000 to get back $1,000. Why would you? Every investment is risky. You want to make a profit, and definitely you're not investing to get less. Why would you invest if you get less? Keep the cash. So he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu invested us, and this pasuk is, "Uzratiyah lo ba'oretz." Hashem planted us as an investment. I'm going to plant some Jews. I'm going to have back more Jews. Yeah, we're soon going to explain what it means. Also, without having also more Jews, there is. The nitzutas, he talks about the nitzutas over here. So he says, we're saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avinu Malkeinu, you waiting for a good return on your investment, but we're saying sometime to a businessman, when he invested, but the business doesn't go so well, we'll tell him, take out the principal before you lose the principal. Never mind profit. Because it's the stock market is not doing well. Take what you have before you're going to lose everything. So that's the pshat. Avinu Malkeinu, Horam Keren, Yisrael Keren, meaning that's a principle. Karen, take the principal out. Don't use us as your investment because we're not doing so well. Just take it out. Make sure you got the principal. Whatever left from the principal, take it out. Anyway, so the idea is Hashem put us in goals. The positive idea, we are the investment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu over here. To have, we should pick up the profit. What's the profit? That's what he extend on. He said like this. בשוירש דובר זה לפי שידוע שעל ידי העבירס נפל מניצוץ הקדושה לקליפה. When we do העבירס חס ושלום, a lot of the holy sparks falls in the hands of klippos. ולכן צריכים לישראל לובע בגולוס. So in all over we have a lot of in klippos. There is a lot of ניצוץ הקדושה, and we have to go in golus. ושום, כאשר הגולוס מחפר אובן, golus, it's cleansing us. Shuv Musukan Akilkul. So we're correcting, repairing the problem. And then so besides that we're correcting our problems over there in the Golus, also we're picking up like a magnet all the holy sparks are that's in the klippos in the Golus. V'hem ha'geirim shemizgairim v'nitoisvim al adas Yisrael. That's the what we're picking up as our investment as the geirim coming like the magnet. There must be the holy spark. It's known. Again, it doesn't say the vir. I'm just being careful not to mix from separating from the Rebbe brings from Arami Rotenberg. Why we're saying all over the Shas Gershon is Gayer. Ger made a Gior. The Chur be more correct grammatically to say Goishin is Gayer. A Nochrishin is Gayer. He was a Nochri and then he made a Gior. Why are we saying Ger? Because it says, the Maram Rotenberg says, because every Ger Tzedek that make a Gior, he must have deep inside already had a Nitzutz. And that Nitzutz called Ger. It's just coming out. And that's why Hashem sent us over there. We should collect this Geirim. The Kasher, Yotzu Yisrael, Mitzraim, Helu Kol HaNitzutz Shoy Mitzraim. When we got out of Mitzrayim, we picked up all the sparks of Mitzrayim. All the tikkun was done over there. Tikkun was done over there. Yeah. And by the way, the Alter Rebbe adds on it, again, I'm going back to the Alter Rebbe, that Gerim doesn't mean only physically just Gerim people. He says, anything Gashmi, you do L'Shem Shemaim, you elevate it to serve Hashem, the food, as under Klipas Noiga, the money, it's regular money. Whatever you eat, you make money, you do whatever for the Shem Shomayim, and you elevate this, you elevate the money to Kedusha, you elevate your food to Kedusha by davening and serving Hashem with this. This is the Ger. This food now is a Ger. He became holy now. Like the Goy became holy, the food became holy, the money became holy. So this is the Gerim. According to Alter Rebbe, Gerim, besides, but Pashtus, we're making Gerim and all over the world that's coming on their own to us. But we also, whatever we do every day in the Golus, and we're picking up the Nitzutz Sakdush and the Golus, with that, we with it. Also, what he says that we picked up all the Nitzutz in Mitzrayim already, and nothing was left over there. Same thing says the Alter Rebbe. It says Erev Gam Erev Rav Olo Itom. So the Alter Rebbe says Erev Rav. That's a gematria Rav 202. So it says in Sifrei Kabbalah that there's Rapach Nitzutzim. There's 288 sparks fell by Shviras HaKelim, and they are all over the world. It's all general. 288. It could be millions and billions of sparks all over. From those 288 general sparks. It says by Mitzrayim we were Masaken already 202. So only left to Masaken since Mitzrayim till coming of Mashiach. It's only 86 netzutzes. So Memela he said, "V'lochen olu ozi moim gerim harbe me'od k'dichsiv gamer v'rav l'fi shekol nitzutz ha'kedusha olum v'lo nisha b'Mitzrayim shum nitzutz kedusha." When we got out of Mitzrayim, we didn't leave over there any spark of kedusha. Any spark that was in Mitzrayim, we took it out when we got out of Mitzrayim. V'lochen hizra kadosh baruch hu isonu b'sholish azhoros kofel shelo yosivod lovel Mitzrayim le'olam. Hashem, that's why we have in Torah 3 times that says we should never return to Mitzrayim. Why? It says, Av she'en lidrash tam ha'mitzvot mikol mokim im efshar litan tam madun nishtan eret Mitzrayim mikol sha'arot hagoyim. It says we don't serve Hashem because we know the reasons, but whatever that's the Rambam says, wherever you could understand, try to understand why in Mitzrayim, but after Hashem says not to go back. We don't have such a thing. Don't go back to Persia. Don't go back to wherever Goliath we were over there. To Rome, why we should not go back to Mitzrayim? What Mitzrayim different than all the other Golios? He explained. He says because of that reason, because in other Golios, when we came out of there, we did not got out all the klippos completely. So if you want to go back, there is a reason. Sometimes we go back because we have to pick up more nitzutzes over there. Mitzrayim, there's nothing to go back. We took out, we cleaned out Mitzrayim. The money over here, besides the money, it meaning there was so many holy nitzutzes, which has happened to be in the money too. But there's Bechlal, generally in Mitzrayim, there was holy nitzutzes. we took it out. By 210 years of war in Mitzrayim, we did the tikkun, we took every nitzutz possible to get out of there. That's why I said there's no reason to go back over there. There's nothing. And by the way, a lot of people I know today, they're trying to go back to Mitzrayim and then to make some business. I told somebody that I spoke to him what he wants to. I told him, according to this, it's Hashem doesn't want you to go back. Even Rambam, when he forced to go back for Parnosa, there were communities over there. When he used to sign the letters, he says Moshe ben Maimon, and he used to say over there that does every day 3 averos. Meaning he was forced to do that. He was honest, but we have no business. If you need to do business, there's plenty other opportunity. Why you want to go back to Mitzrayim? It says we took all the nitzutas out. It said, so it says like this. By Chet Odom Arishon, when he ate some Etz Hadas, that's when he spread out all the nitzutas HaKedusha in the whole entire world. And that's why when the Jews go somewhere, a place, he's doing his birurim over there. Whether he does a business over there, he does it al pi Torah, al pi Shulchan Aruch, he does whether he eats, says a bracha, he goes to play, to pray somewhere, he davens. So you mavar nitzutzim. Baal Shem Tov also says, when I eat sometime, he says, it goes to a place, he says, and there's a place that's waiting for this neshama to come there, sometime 500 years, just to make a bracha over there, to daven over there. So it's you never know.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm sure many times you could see yourself. You have places you went, and you never know. You did something. You felt that was your tikkun over there. You did. Okay, so he says that's why by Mitzrayim we shouldn't go back, because we didn't forget there anything. We took everything out. There's no reason to go back. There's nothing over there to correct anymore, to elevate any nitzutas.
Didn't they have fairly sizable Jewish communities though in Mitzrayim?
Right. That was against the advice of Novi Yirmiyah when they went after killing Gedaliah ben Achikam to Mitzrayim, and the end of that community was tragic. The end of that community was tragic because there were a big community, Alexandria, Shul Mitzrayim, but the end of them was not good. Anyway, then he said like this: it's important to this. He brings another. According to this, again, that in Mitzrayim we picked up all the nitzutz hakdusha we left over there. There's nothing to go back for. He took out the shofar godel. It's posuk in Ishaya. Hashem will blow a big shofar. There's going to come people that lost in Eretz Ashur, vanidochim be'eretz Mitzrayim, people that are nidach, they are also lost over there in Mitzrayim. But over tzorich tam, they both mean oivdim, nidochim mean they're lost, some lost Jews. I mean, that's what the origin of the Rebbe was. Baal Shem Tov, going all the way till the Rebbe, they send their messengers all over the corners, some faraway corners of the world, to pick up the nitzutas of the Eden that left over there, the nitzutas to bring over there. Not only Gerim, to bring the Jews back that are lost over there. So it says over there, but it says, why there's a shinoi? When it talks about Oivdim, Eretz Ashur, talks about Eretz Ashur, it says Oivdim. And when it talks about Mitzrayim, it says Nidochim. Why it changes? Again, the both meaning the same, lost the shamas over there, but why it changes? He says like this. He says, he says, according to why I explained that the Noid of Yehuda, it could be understood. Oivdim, it's one thing, avudim, it's one thing. So he says, Ki be'emes onu ovadnu. It's oivdim mean we are lost over there. Yeah, avudim, avudim mean we are lost over there. Oivdim mean we lost something. Meaning in Ashur we lost something. What would we lose in Ashur? There are some nitzutzos kedusha over there, and we have to pick up. That's why it says oivdim, meaning not we avudim, we are lost. We lost something over there. He said, "Kivemes ono avadnu." V'sham yesh lanu aveda nitzutzos kedusha. We lost something. What would we lose over there? The nitzutzos kedusha. V'nispazarnu sham lechapas avudeinu. So then we spread out in Ashur to pick up this nitzutzos. He says. Aval b'Mitzrayim l'nishal shum aveda. Mitzrayim, but there's nothing we lost over there. People says, what did you lose over here? Why did you come over here? Mitzrayim, we didn't lose anything. He says, that's for no reason we are there. Like somebody, we were pushed over there. The goal was, the circumstance pushed us over there. But there's nothing lost over there. There's nothing, no nitzutz kedusha over there. Well, kivnu Rav Ami v'Resh Lakish. Rav Ami, again, he takes the gears from Maseches Brochas. Shasu kemetzudo shem bodogim, dogon, or kemetzula shem bodogim. There's no grain left over there. There's no fish left over there. He says, v'lo moment kivnu. It's not when we said about this wealth traveling. Wasn't just about why the Gemara cares so much about the wealth. And by us, it was never, money is not, I mean, it's important, you could do important, but it's not like, not everything in life is just money. I mean, the idea of the money over there was nitzutzis over there, and those nitzutzis are traveling. And the end, he says, that the end, those nitzutzis, which is in Rome now, the biggest birur of the nitzutzas, the taking out of the sparks from the golus will be from Rome. They are there, and it's gonna all come back. Yeah, in the money also you have a lot of nitzutzas. Yeah, but what we're talking about over here, what we're traveling, the nitzutzas are traveling, and the final redemption gonna be when we are finally gonna pick up all the nitzutzas from the golus.